Have you ever found yourself wondering about those really obscure treasures, the ones hidden deep inside the archives of famous brands? Not the big hits everyone knows, but maybe that one piece of gear that's just so rare, maybe kind of experimental, that it feels almost like a myth. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really digging deep, doing a proper excavation into a piece of music history, the Boss RM2 ring modulator. And this isn't just some other pedal. It's arguably one of the rarest, most, well, enigmatic things Boss ever decided to release. So our mission today is to give you the quick guide, the shortcut, to its wild Japan-only history, its really unique sounds, and why this little box became a holy grail for collectors, even though honestly, most people have never even heard of it. We've pulled together info from histories, tech breakdowns, collector forums, all that stuff. I'm actually really excited to explore something so different from what we usually expect from Boss. It really is like finding a secret room.
It is, absolutely. And it says something, doesn't it? That even these big established companies, the ones known for reliable mainstream gear, sometimes they just push the boundaries. They try something experimental, something niche. These things might not be big sellers right away, but they often tell a really interesting story about innovation, maybe about being just a bit ahead of the curve. The RM2 is definitely one of those moments for Boss. A bit of a gamble, you could say.
Okay, let's get into it then. What exactly is the Boss RM2, and why haven't most of us, even serious pedal nerds, really heard about it? It feels so hidden.
Well, hidden's a good word for it. The RM2 was strange right from the start. It came out exclusively in Japan, and only for a very, very short time back in 1984. It was part of this brief line of experimental pedals they tried. So yeah, a real outlier in the Boss lineup, which was usually about mass appeal. And you have to remember, ring modulators themselves, they're a niche effect.
Yeah.
Always have been. Mostly linked with, avant-garde music, electronic stuff, maybe weird film sounds. Not really the first thing your average guitarist in '84 was looking for, unlike, say, a good overdrive or chorus.
Right. And that Japan-only thing, plus the short run, that really sealed its fate as this mythical object, didn't it? Less a pedal, more a legend for Boss fans.
Totally. Think about 1984. No internet as we know it. No easy global shipping. A Japan-only release was seriously isolated. If you weren't in Japan, you probably wouldn't even know it existed, let alone be able to buy one. It feels like it was probably Boss testing the waters, maybe for the Japanese market specifically, which sometimes embraces more experimental stuff, but for the wider guitar world, probably a bit too weird, a bit too soon. So yeah, that limited distribution basically guaranteed it would become this rare find later on.
Yeah.
It's funny how business decisions can create scarcity like that.
Okay, so imagine you actually found one, like struck gold. What does it do for someone used to, I don't know, blues driver? What even is ring modulation? How did the RM2 tackle it?
Right, this is where it gets interesting, maybe a little strange. The core tech is fascinating. See, analog ring modulation doesn't add distortion or echo or anything like that. It works mathematically.
Yep.
It takes your guitar signal, right? And it multiplies it with another signal, an internal oscillator. Think of the oscillator as just a pure, clean tone generated inside the pedal. And this multiplication creates completely new frequencies.
New frequencies? How?
It generates frequencies that are the sum of the original and the oscillator, and also the difference between them.
Wait, sum and difference. Okay, so not like bending the pitch, but creating brand new notes that aren't really related harmonically. That sounds potentially chaotic.
Exactly. Chaotic is a good word sometimes. That's the key to its sound. These new sum and difference frequencies are often non-harmonic compared to your original note. They don't fit neatly into the usual musical scale. That's why ring mod often sounds so, well, alien or metallic. Or just dissonant. It's like you're generating these ghost frequencies that clash and shimmer against what you played. It's almost like a weird synth effect on your board.
Okay, wow. So the controls. It looks simple enough on the outside. 3 knobs. How did Boss let you actually, tame that beast?
Or unleash it. Yeah, the interface was classic, Boss simple, but actually quite powerful. You had balance, first off. That's just your wet-dry mix. You could blend your normal guitar tone with the crazy effect sound. Really important for making it usable. And the big one, frequency. That controlled the pitch of that internal oscillator we talked about. Low pitch to high pitch. Changing that drastically changed the whole character of the effect. And finally, filter. Kind of a tone control for the effect sound, let you smooth out the really harsh bits, or maybe emphasize certain clangy tones, gave you some shaping power.
And that frequency knob really took you to different places, right? It wasn't subtle.
Oh, not subtle at all. The range was huge. When you set the frequency really low, the oscillator was slow. It acted almost like a weird, warbly tremolo. Not a standard tremolo, but it modulated the volume in this pulsing, shimmery way. Kind of cool, actually.
Okay, like a gentle throb.
Yeah, something like that. But then you turn that frequency knob up into the middle range. That's where you get the classic ring mod sound. Robotic, metallic, clanging. Think Dalek voices or weird sci-fi sound effects, that kind of industrial clang.
Right, the real signature sound.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then if you push the frequency knob even higher, you get these really high-pitched bell-like sounds, but also super dissonant alien textures. Those clashing sidebands really come out. Could sound genuinely strange, like sounds from another planet. It really made you think differently about guitar tone.
So it had this amazing split personality. It could be almost subtle and musical or just full-on noise machine. You can almost hear how someone creative could use that whole spectrum, from gentle pulses to, yeah, spaceship landings. Which makes you wonder, if it was so unique, why did it just vanish? Poof, gone. Why isn't there Wazacraft RM2 now? You'd think collectors would be all over that.
Yeah, its disappearance was really quick.
Mm.
The simple answer is it just didn't sell well. Production
Yeah.
run was short, got it discontinued fast, almost certainly because, well, mainstream guitarists just weren't buying it. Like we said, ring modulation was, and kind of still is, a specialized thing.
Mhm.
In 1984, the market wanted drive, delay, chorus, the staples. The RM2 was probably just too weird for most players back then.
Mm.
And what's really telling, and adds to the whole mystique, is that Boss has never reissued it. Think about all the other classic Boss pedals they've brought back, either as reissues or Wazacraft versions. But not the RM2. Nothing.
Never.
Never. Which suggests maybe they still see it as too niche,
Mm.
maybe not commercially viable even for a limited run today. It
Mhm.
really reinforces that idea of it being this one-off experiment they tried
Yeah.
and then just moved on from, locked away in the vault.
So for the collectors, the Boss fanatics, what does all that mean? This must be pretty high on their lists.
Oh, absolutely. It's considered one of the true holy grails for serious Boss collectors, no question. The rarity, the Japan-only thing, the weirdness, the fact it's never been reissued,
Yeah.
it all adds up. Its value is driven way up by that scarcity and the story behind it. It wasn't just a pedal. It was a commercial failure that became legendary because it failed.
That's fascinating.
It is. There's this appeal to owning something that was maybe misunderstood or ahead of its time. It's like owning a piece of hidden history. The fact that it didn't sell well in the 80s is exactly why people pay so much for it now. The irony is pretty thick. It really shows you how collecting works, how value gets assigned.
Okay, so given how rare it was and how strange it sounded, who actually used one? You're probably not going to tell me Eric Clapton had one on his board.
Huh? No.
Yeah.
Definitely not widely adopted by the big rock stars, not like a CE1 or a DS1 or something. But it absolutely found its people. It tended to be picked up by more experimental players, guitarists exploring noise music, industrial sounds, avant-garde stuff, people actively looking for sounds that weren't conventional. Think maybe some no-wave artists or musicians using synths and drum machines looking for extreme processing. And specifically, because it was Japan only, you'd find it more within the Japanese underground scene in the mid-80s. Electronic artists, experimental bands in places like Tokyo, they would have had access. It gave them sounds nobody else was getting easily.
So local heroes and sonic explorers, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Today, you mostly see it pop up with collectors doing demos online, showing off their rare finds. They're kind of keeping it sound alive for the rest of us.
So it's this weird paradox then. One of the least known Boss pedals overall, but also one of the most collectible and sought after by the hardcore fans. It's got this cult following among the experimental crowd, but most guitarists just know it as, like, a weird footnote.
Yeah, and connecting that to the bigger picture, it kind of shows that niche gear, experimental stuff, can still be really influential in certain circles. Even if it doesn't sell millions, it can help shape unique sounds, push boundaries for a small group of artists. The RM2 became a tool for people deliberately trying not to sound like everyone else.
Yeah.
It reminds you that innovation doesn't always happen in the mainstream. Sometimes it's out there on the edges, waiting for people adventurous enough to find it.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Our deep dive into the Boss RM2 ring modulator. What a fascinating thing. A super rare, Japan-only experimental pedal from '84. Its analog circuit could do everything from subtle throbs to totally bizarre metallic, robotic, alien noises.
Yeah, sounds based on those sum of difference frequencies.
Right, but it didn't really catch on back then. Production was short, and it became this collector's dream, this kind of whispered legend, one of the rarest Boss pedals out there.
It really is a snapshot of a moment when a big company took a chance on something genuinely weird.
And the RM2 is a great reminder, isn't it? That innovation often happens out on the fringes. Sometimes it's way ahead of its time, only really appreciated later. Makes you wonder, What other failed experiments from big brands might be out there, waiting to be rediscovered, holding some secret sounds for the future? What does it really say about creativity when a company like Boss takes a risk on something so far out, knowing it might just flop? Something to think about. We hope you enjoyed this look into the strange and captivating world of the Boss RM2.